What genre or style does your band fit into?
Our band fits into the sort of early alternative indie sort of movement of the 80s, with sort of bands like the Smiths, the Cure, and Pixies, which that they pioneered.
Okay, so would you say that they are the origin slash like first artist to establish
Yeah,
this genre?
I'd say they definitely established the genre, along with artists like Joy Division, who sort of established it sort of late 70s, early 80s.
And have there been any social, ethical, or cultural impacts that have shaped this genre?
Yeah, definitely. So I think this genre kind of has the sort of attitude of sort of do it yourself, like DIY. You know, you don't need like a sort of a big label to sort of be signed to make good music. You can sort of start off playing in sort of like small venues and work your way up, opposed to being signed by sort of a big record label. And I think that's definitely sort of the attitude, and I think it was sort of more set by like punk, but was sort of carried through into this sort of genre.
So would you say that indie music has got any like common musical components that have defined this genre?
Yeah, I think sort of usually musical components they use are like using more sort of like complex chords than just sort of like with pop music. It's sort of just 4 chord like sort of songs where they use very sort of simple like chords, whereas within this genre it's usually more sort of using like minor 7, sort of diminished, and all sort of more complex sort of sounding stuff.
And so would you say that indie music uses any like effects and sounds that are common, like are quite common now?
Yeah, definitely. I think indie music, it's quite sort of common for in indie music that they use quite a lot of sort of reverb, chorus, delay. It creates quite a sort of like sort of soft sounds to it, sort of dreamy, sort of echoey sound, which is sort of quite known for that genre.
Would you say that your band has got any sort of similarities with the image or stage presence?
Yeah, definitely. I think our band sort of take a lot of inspiration from like stage movement of sort of bands from that era, and we are quite sort of lively on stage in terms of how we present ourselves. And I think that we do take a lot of inspiration from bands like sort of the Smiths and the Cure, Joy Division, like all sort of ones previously mentioned. I think that have been a big sort of influence to that.
And would you say there are any sort of noteworthy common production slash recording techniques?
Yeah, I think panning is a big one, which was sort of used quite a lot, sort of pioneered quite a lot through that sort of era of music, where they would sort of music would move sort of through speakers and went on sort of stereo, and like I definitely think that's a big one that was sort of pioneered and is used quite a lot.
Perfect.